Hello, welcome to another episode of the Cruise News that you can use. Today's top story is unfortunately a sad one. Um, Yesterday on the Carnival Glory, a guest was reported missing. The crew immediately began emergency procedures, counting everybody, counting all people on board, making sure, doing a search of the ship, making sure, they couldn't find him. When they couldn't locate him, they immediately contacted the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard began a search. They brought in planes. They contacted all the ships in the area to be on the lookout for. They started a search. Unfortunately, it was a large search area. It's over 200 miles because they're unsure exactly when and where the passenger went overboard. Um, Unfortunately, the Glory, as per protocol, once the Coast Guard was contacted and they began the search, the Glory went on her back to her regular itinerary because they're not equipped for a lengthy, detailed search and rescue mission that the Coast Guard took over the search at that point. Unfortunately, last night the Coast Guard had to suspend the search temporarily due to gale force winds and rough seas, 8 to 12 foot seas, which is rough. Let's put it that way. So, um, uh, our hopes and prayers are with that person, and we're praying that the Coast Guard is able to locate him safely and get him back on board. On board a Coast Guard ship, anyway. Next up, Carnival Conquest had to cancel a port of call. Seems that there have been some protests going on in Panama, in Colon, Panama, and it's been pretty rough there. Been some violence between the protesters and the authorities, and the cruise line decided that due to all the unrest in Cologne, that it would be safer for the passengers to not go into town. I'm sure several, I'm sure a lot of the passengers were upset. I would be. I would hope that I would understand why they did that, but I would still be upset that I would miss that port. So instead, the guests are going to have an additional day at sea, which I I don't know. I like sea days, so visiting a port I've never been to, sea day, yeah, I would still be a little upset, I think. So real quick, before the next story, if you like me, not me, but if you like the cruise news that you can use, hit that like button, hit that subscribe and notification buttons. Send me a comment. If there's a certain story that you want me to cover more in depth, if there's something that you want me to stop doing or start doing, let me know. This is my YouTube, but I'm definitely willing to consider if you have a change you'd like to see. Next story, staying with Carnival. Ambassador John Heald had to address some rumors recently. So a bunch of rumors, about Carnival, well, about all cruise ships, but specifically about Carnival, that have got a lot of people adding their 2 cents to. So Mr. Heald decided it was time to address these two specifically. The first one is, at the current time, the cruise ship is not planning on switching from Pepsi products to Coke products. They have an exclusive contract with Pepsi that's still in place. They have no plans in the near future to switch to Coke products. So to all the Coke lovers out there, sorry, but they're sticking with Pepsi for now anyway. You know how that changes. Contracts come up for renewal every couple of years, and depending upon the offer on the table, and how many people, how many of their guests are weighing in constantly about not liking one product, yada yada yada. You know the story. And the second rumor that he's trying to put to bed is the takeaway policy for the Lido buffet on board. Currently, guests are allowed to take food from the Lido buffet back to their room. That policy will not change. If you want to, grab some snacks, you want to grab an apple, you want to grab, a full plate of food to bring back to the room for later, or for, your significant other, if they're not feeling up to going to the buffet, or they just rather sit in their balcony and have a nice quiet little lunch. You're welcome to, according to the cruise line. Next story, Princess. Unfortunately, Princess also had to cancel a port visit. So the Sun Princess is underway on a 15-night transatlantic sailing, and they've been at sea for a couple of days. They were supposed to stop in Ponta Delgada in the Azores. My apologies. Well, unfortunately, they had to cancel that port visit due to a maritime pilot strike. So, unfortunately, the Sun Princess can't enter the port without a pilot on board to navigate the actual port. So, they were literally within sight of land, within sight of Ponta Delgada, and they had to make the call to cancel that. So now the guests get 10 uninterrupted sea days on their transatlantic. Their next stop, I believe, is in St. Lucia. So I don't know. I haven't done a transatlantic yet or a trans-Pacific. 10 sea days. Well, I love my sea days. 10 in a row. That might be a little much. Not sure. But so next up, and I believe last story of the day, again, another itinerary change. The MSC Meraviglia had to change its itinerary. So the Meraviglia left New York on November 13th, was supposed to arrive. Oh, hello, Ilya. You can't see him just yet, but Ilya's decided that there he is. So the Meraviglia left New York on November 13th, was supposed to arrive into Bermuda actually today, Wednesday, and depart on Friday. They're doing Bermuda. I think it was a 6th night, but due to a cold front coming in from the North Atlantic, which is going to cause some serious winds and just rough weather, they have decided to skip Bermuda, and instead they're going to pull into Port Canaveral today, actually, and they're in Canaveral today, I believe, 1 to 9. Then they'll leave this evening, and they're going to visit Nassau, Bahamas tomorrow for the day, and then they'll have a sea day, and they'll arrive back up into New York the day after. They'll back on Friday. While not Bermuda, Port Canaveral is a cool town to visit. Nassau, you're in the Bahamas, so that's not a bad way to spend your cruise. I know it's not Bermuda, and I've always enjoyed Bermuda, but I'd rather visit 2 other ports than deal with bumpy seas and heavy winds, and that would make the port of call not so much fun either. So I hope they enjoy their altered itinerary. So that's about it. Ilya and I are going to sign off. I hope you have a great day.